Ndị be anyị ekenekwanụ m unu. Anyị sị ka ọ mara na anyị na mma na-eke, anyị sị ka ọ mara anyị mma na orie, anyị sịkwa ka ọ mara anyị mma na afọ, ka ọ makwara na anyị mma na nkwọ, anyị sị ka nke onye chiri ya zerụkwa. Ebe anyị si were otere ya bụ ozi n'ụbọchị nke taa bụ Easter News 24. Ya bụ ozi bụ gbasara maka ya bụ ife na-eme na obodo nọ n'ime ya adịnwere ụwa na-azọ n'ala Igbo. Ozi a bụ according to the Biafran activist wetara ya n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa. As he quotes, breaking news: USA Nigeria meeting scandal. Donald Trump officially contradicts Tinubu's government claim. Hear the news in details. All right, update ajimaka wee bịa. Anyị ga-agbapụ n'ihe ọsọ igosi na ya bụ ife na-eme n'obodo nọ n'ime ya kịta. The deal with US government and presidency lie exposed by one of the great activists I will n'iru akwụkwọ. So pay attention to the clip. Over to you.
There are strong indications that the Nigerian government lied about the outcome of its officials' meeting with the officials of the United States government over the allegation of Christian genocide and Christian persecution in Nigeria, when the officials of the Nigerian government, led by the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, met with the officials of the United States government, including the Secretary of War and the lead investigator over the allegation of Christian genocide in Nigeria at Washington. Now, the Nigerian government is claiming that United States has agreed to provide intelligence support, defense equipment to Nigeria as part of the outcome of the Nuhu Ribadu-led delegation meeting with US officials. But in this video, we're going to show you that what they are claiming is contrary to what is the views of the Americans that they met and what they spoke about this meeting, and what even President Donald Trump himself said on the day of the meeting concerning the situation in Nigeria. And you're going to listen to the lead investigator of the congressional committee that is looking into the issue of Christian genocide in Nigeria, because he was also visited by Nuhu Ribadu-led delegation, and he will tell you what he told them. And then you listen to Donald Trump. But before we go to that video, let us look at what the Nigerian government is claiming that was the outcome of their meeting. The presidency said that the United States government has affirmed its readiness to deepen security cooperation with Nigeria, including the provision of enhanced intelligence support, defense equipment, and articles to reinforce ongoing operations against terrorists and violent extremist groups in the country. According to the presidency, this follows discussion and engagement held last week between a high-level Nigerian delegation and U.S. officials aimed at strengthening security partnership between the two countries and opening new avenues for cooperation. The delegation, led by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, had met with senior officials across the U.S. Congress, the White House Fed Office, the State Department, the National Security Council, and the Department of War. And of course, we know that members of the delegation included the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, Chief of Defense Staff General Olufemi Oluyede, Chief of Defense Intelligence Lieutenant General Emmanuel Udwendeye, the Inspector General of Police Kayode Abotokun, and two representatives of the National Security Advisor. Now, according to a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Monday on Information and Strategy, Bayo Nanoga, he said that during the engagement, the Nigerian delegation refuted the allegations of genocide in Nigeria emphasizing that violent attacks affect families and communities across religious and ethnic lines. He said the delegation also rejected the wrongful framing of the situation, saying such a portrayal would only divide Nigerians and distort the realities on the ground. He said that the United States expressed its willingness to extend complementary support, including humanitarian assistance to affected populations in the Middle Belt and technical support to strengthen early warning mechanism. Okay? He said the discussions provided ample opportunity to correct misconceptions about Nigeria, forge a constructive solution-driven partnership with the United States, and reinforce mutual trust and advance a coordinated approach to protecting vulnerable communities, especially in the Middle Belt. According to Bayo Nanoga, both countries agreed to implement immediately a non-binding cooperation framework and to establish joint working group to ensure a unified and coordinated approach to the agreed areas of cooperation. He said the Nigerian delegation in return reaffirmed government commitment to strengthening civilian protection measures. Bayo Nadoga went on to say that the federal government restated its awareness of heightened sensitivities regarding religious freedom and security and urges citizens to remain assured that firm, urgent, and coordinated steps are being taken to secure the nation. Okay, that was the presidency, giving the impression that the U.S. has agreed to provide intelligence support, defense equipment to Nigeria. But what was the position what was the true situation? Now, what in the meeting that National Security Advisor's delegation had with the Secretary of War, there is a press release that was released by the Department of War or U.S. Department of War. After the meeting with Nuhu Ribadu and co, there is a press release. I will put the link under the video so that you also have access to read the press release from the U.S. Secretary of War Department. The press release immediate release. He said this press release for immediate release is titled Readout of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's meeting with Federal Republic of Nigeria National Security Advisor Mr. Malam Nuhu Ribadu, November 21, 2025. And this statement was issued by the Assistant to the Secretary of War for Public Affairs and Senior Advisor Sin Panel, provided the following readout. Now, let me read out what was contained. It was a very short statement, unlike the lengthy thing you heard from Bayo Nanoga. The statement reads thus: on November 20th, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, welcomed a delegation of security leaders from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, led by their National Security Advisor, Mr. Malam Nuhu Ribadu, to the Pentagon. Both leaders discussed ways to make tangible progress on stopping violence against Christians in Nigeria and combating West African jihadist terrorist groups. Secretary Hegseth emphasized the need for Nigeria to demonstrate. Nigeria has to demonstrate. He said, Secretary Hegseth emphasized the need for Nigeria to demonstrate commitment and take both urgent and enduring action to stop violence against Christians and convey the department's desire to work by, with, and through Nigeria to deter and degrade terrorists that threaten the United States. Now, the key word there is that the meeting discussed ways to make tangible progress. In the statement by the Nigerian government, they didn't talk about that they were required to make tangible progress. And when you listen to the video I will play for you by the lead investigator on the issue of Christian genocide in Nigeria, and you listen to Donald Trump himself, you know that they have not met the requirement that will warrant the United States to begin to talk about giving equipment or anything to Nigeria, because the statement is based on they want to see tangible progress on stopping violence against Christians in Nigeria. Has there been any tangible progress to warrant America going any further to do anything for Nigeria? They say we want to see tangible. And when you listen to that video, you see some of the tangible steps they want to see first. Okay? And Secretary Hesgert emphasized the need for Nigeria to demonstrate commitment and take both urgent and enduring action to stop violence against Christians and convey the department's desire to work by, with, and through Nigeria to deter and degrade terrorists that threaten the United States. Now, that's the end of this statement issued by the Secretary of Department of War. You can see that even in this statement, the United States Department of War did not mention about protecting Muslims. A lot of people found that troubling. It therefore means that the United States is believing, even after the meeting, the story that Bayo Nanuga was saying, that they were able to tell them that the killings affect all the first communities. Okay? Which is true. It affects all the first communities. But the United States government, even after the meeting, they were not convinced. They believe that even though if it affects the both communities, but the Christians bear the biggest brunt of what is going on in Nigeria. That was why in the statement by the Secretary of War office, they didn't mention that they want to see tangible things that they will do to protect the Christian communities. Has there been any tangible moves by the government? But when we watch the video that will be coming up later, you now know some of the tangible steps that they could take to win the confidence of Washington, that perhaps these people are about to do something in respect to what we are talking about. So you can see that the Secretary Hesgert, Peter Hesgert, didn't mention the Muslims killings. He was emphatic that they must see commitment to stop the killing of Christians. Now, if you when I check out the Facebook page of the Secretary of War, Pete Hesgert, he put out, which I'll put on your screen, on this screen. He also put out a statement on his Facebook wall, his official Facebook wall. The Secretary of War, Pete Hesgert, he said, yesterday, this is what he wrote on his Facebook wall. He said, yesterday I met with Nigeria's National Security Advisor and his team to discuss the horrific violence against Christians in their country. Under President Trump's leadership, Department of War is working aggressively with Nigeria to end the persecution of Christians by jihadist terrorists. Now, if after the meeting, as Bayonanuga is saying, that they were able to tell them that both Christians and Muslims are being killed. But the statement coming from the War Office, Department of War Office, was always emphatic that they want to see Christians being protected, which is a different result from what the government was painting. Because the statement from Nigerian government gave the impression that they have accepted, after they presented to them that killings in Nigeria affect all the communities, that the Trump administration is not buying into that narrative. But they agreed that Muslims are also killed, Christians are killed, but the Christians bear the biggest brunt of the jihadist terrorists he was talking about here. So you can see how the United States government statement is talking about their meeting with Trump, with Nigerian officials. There is no indication that they agreed to supply equipment, to do all those things they are claiming, because this is a country they have declared a country of particular concern. There are consequences for you to be a country of particular concern. Unless that tag is removed, it's a hindrance to even assisting Nigeria in several ways on this issue. So that said, this is just to show that this statement by the Nigerian government cannot be the true reflection of what happened. When we look into what came out from United States itself, the way they interpreted their meeting with Nuhu Ribado led delegation. Now we're going to listen to the secretary, the House of Reps member, Riley Moore, who Donald Trump appointed as the lead investigator of the classification of Nigeria as a country of political concern and the issue of Christian genocide and persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Riley Moore spoke with Fox News on the outcome of the meeting with Nuhu Ribado and co. And after you listen to Riley Moore, the next clip that will follow it immediately will be that of Donald Trump, who spoke about the situation of things in America, this American evaluation of latest development in Nigeria or what is going on. Watch.
Play some remarks you made 2 weeks ago on this program. You had a word of caution, perhaps, I would say, to the Nigerian government with whom you met some representatives this week. Here's what you said 2 weeks ago.
I'm asking Nigeria, do the right thing here. Partner with the United States. Help us protect the Christians in your country, and we will help you. This doesn't have to be all sticks. It can also be carrots here. Or we do have these kinetic military options on the table, which the president has made very clear he will consider.
You met with the Nigeria delegation this week. Have those kinetic threats moved them at all?
Kaylee, actually, I will say that the meeting was productive. It was frank, very honest with them, and it does sound like they are open to partnering with the United States to stop these killings. They met with myself and the administration as well, including Secretary Pete Hegseth. And so I think we did make some progress in getting them to a place to partner with us to stop these killings. But there's a lot of things that they can do, and I think one of these first steps is releasing Sunday Jackson. I think another one is coming up, working with us for a plan to disarm these militants in the middle belt of the country, the Fulani Islamic radicals that are there. But we did make progress.
Nigeria is a disgrace. The whole thing is a disgrace. They're killing people by the thousands. It's a genocide. And I'm really angry about it. And we pay, we give a lot of subsidy to Nigeria. We're going to end up stopping. The government's done nothing. They're very ineffective. They're killing Christians at will. And, until I got involved in it 2 weeks ago, nobody even talked about it.
Well, President Trump is reacting today
That
to what
was
we've been covering.
Riley Moore, the lead investigator of the classification of Nigeria as a country of particular concern and the issue of Christian genocide and Christian persecution in Nigeria. He talked about the meeting he had with the Nuhu Ribado-led delegation. He said, yes, the meeting was constructive, okay, but he said that there are some things they need to do to build confidence. Tangible things they have to do. Have they done those tangible things to warrant America promising to give them equipment and other things? He said one of the tangible things they need to see is that they should release Sunday Jackson. Who is Sunday Jackson? Sunday Jackson is the Adamawa State-born farmer that was in his farm, and a Fulani herdsman attacked him in his farm, and he was able to disarm the Fulani herdsman and use the machetes of the Fulani herdsman and kill the man in self-defense. His case passed through the lower court up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court of Federal Republic of Nigeria sentenced him to death by hanging for defending himself against a herdsman that trespassed to his farm, to his territory, and wanted to kill him, and he killed the man in self-defense. The Supreme Court ruled, affirmed that he should die by hanging. In the thinking of the Supreme Court, they are agreeing with the lower court that when Sunday Jackson disarmed the herdsman and collected the knife that he wanted to use to kill him, even though he sustained wounds from this herdsman's machetes, that he ought to have run away and not killed the man. So the U.S. government is asking through Riley Moore, you say, what kind of justice is that? So one of the things that Nigerian government must do to show that they are ready to cooperate with America is to release Sunday Jackson. Number two, and this is just the few ones that Riley Moore was able to reveal to us, is that the Nigerian government must disarm the Fulani militia. That they must disarm them. Has there been any effort by the Nigerian government to disarm the Fulani militia? You think that the American government is not aware that that has not been done? Sunday Jackson has not been released. The herdsmen have not been disarmed. In fact, while all this was going on, you can see the number of kidnappings going on. Even some of these bandits are even doing going on social media, threatening everybody that they can do and don't do, and nothing will happen to them. Okay. Then the last clip after Riley Moore was the President Donald Trump making it clear that the Nigerian government is doing nothing to stop the killing of Christians. So where then lies this story? They're bandying about that United States is going to give equipment. They have agreed to give equipment. They have agreed to do this or that. No, America want to see tangible results. They didn't tell us what was expected of them to do if there would be any solution. And if you look at the question that was asked Riley Moore by the Fox anchor, it said that, has there been any improvement in Nigeria as a result of the kinetic threat against the country? Has there? He said, well, they are beginning to understand that they need to do something. But he said, they need to, there are some strategic actions they need to take, tangible actions. And he just mentioned releasing Sunday Jackson, disarming the Fulani herdsmen. Because according to Riley Moore, firearms are banned for ordinary Nigerians. Why are the herdsmen having it? He said Nigerian government must disarm. The Nigerian government didn't tell us that this aspect in their statement. They are telling us that they say that they will cooperate, giving the impression that all is well now with the United States in terms of relationship. But that interview that Donald Trump had with Fox Radio reminded everybody that Trump is not buying into whatever they are selling until they see tangible result. And Trump, from his statement in the last clip, showed that they have not seen any tangible result. And Riley Moore have given some of the things they can see to be able to say, okay, these people are beginning to take some action to protect Christians in Nigeria. I don't know whether this is able to convince you to know that that statement by the Nigerian government that America has agreed to cooperate with them on this issue of Christian genocide and all that. And that's you have to take it with a pinch of salt. But this is not new. Remember when the president of Nigeria, Tinubu, attended the Riyadh conference in Riyadh, and when they came back, Ajuri Ngelale, when he was the spokesperson of Tinubu, said that including the Minister of Information, this Minister of Information said that Saudi Arabia has agreed to pump in money to revitalize the dollar in Nigeria, that because of the dollar crisis we are having at that time, and that Saudi Arabia has agreed to help revamp our refineries. And when we fact check it in all the major media organizations in Saudi Arabia that are supposed to report it, it was total blackout. Till date, did Saudi Arabia revitalize our refineries? They couldn't have done that. But that was what we are told, that's one of the things Tinubu achieved in that in his meeting with the Saudi authorities at that Saudi African summit that was held shortly after Tinubu became president. Okay, so this government has a penchant for using propaganda to turn things in their favor, but it's always blow up in their face because of fast checkers like us and others who points out these things like we are pointing.
Na Eastern News 24 beba isi were wetara nya bụ nnukwu ozi gbasata maka ya bife na-emenụ ka efi were ikwu gbasata maka ya bife ndị wetara n'ụbọchị nketa n'iru akwụkwọ ka emesịa